Do you know where your potential employer stands in the area of diversity, inclusion, and belonging? Even your current employer. Well, if you don't know, there's some questions you need to ask. Keep watching and listening to TalentSmith's Lunch and Learn Live as I share with you 5 questions that you can ask in your interview about diversity, inclusion, and belonging. And you can even ask your current employer if you don't have the answers. You need to know. Hello everyone, Janet Smith here of TalentSmiths, and this is Lunch and Learn Live. Thank you for tuning in. TalentSmiths is a place where we fuse compensation professionals with top organizations for a great match. Lunch and Learn Live is a place where all professionals can tune in to get tips for their career path, their intentional career path. Do you know what your path is? Well, welcome to Lunch and Learn Live. This is where we're going to get 100 questions for you so that you can ask those questions and get the answers that you need. This is week 1. All this month, I'm sharing with you 100 questions. In week 1, we're talking about diversity and inclusion. I'm going to share with you 5 questions, and you'll be able to download 25 questions so that you can go through that list and ask the questions that you need. So keep watching. Let's get started by looking at those 100 questions. This is the lineup of events for this month. Every week, I'm going to share with you 25 questions. You'll be able to download 25 questions, and you'll end up getting 100 questions this month that you can get answered. So look at the list of events and decide what week you need to tune in. I hope that you tune in to every week so that you can get all 100 questions, and you'll find the PDF digital download in the description so that you can download all 25 questions. And week 1, of course, we're talking about questions that you can ask about diversity, inclusion, and belonging. Very important there. So there are things that you need to know before you accept a new position. There are things that you need to know even after you're in that position as well. So if you're currently working, you might also need to ask these questions. And remember that when you're in an interview, you are not the only one that's being interviewed. The company is being interviewed as well. By who? By you. You are interviewing the company as well. So remember that there's a download that you can get with all 25 questions to ask about diversity, inclusion, and belonging. But today, I'm going to share 5 of those questions with you that are very important questions. And in your interview, you want to make sure that you build rapport with your interviewer. You want to make sure that you get on a good footing with them. And, companies more so now with all the events that have gone on in the world are focusing on cultural fit. They're focusing on diversifying their workforce, which is great. Absolutely great. But there's still questions that you need to ask so that you can have a clear understanding of what that looks like. So when you're in your interview, you definitely want to focus on being positive, respectful, interested in what the interviewer is saying and asking you, and all of that. Pay attention to the interview, answer questions very accurately and appropriately based on your skills, but ask those questions as well that I'm giving you. and any other questions that you might have as well. If there's any questions that you think are important to ask about diversity, inclusion, and belonging, comment below. Comment below and let us know those questions that you think are important as well. So let's go into those 5 questions. And remember, you can download the PDF that has 25. Today, I'm going to share with you 5. So here's the first question. How do you ensure employees can voice contrary opinions without fear of negative consequences? That's a true thing. That's a valid thing. Sometimes, if someone voices a contrary opinion, there could be negative consequences. You need to know how your potential employer or how your current employer makes sure that there are no negative consequences, that employees can ask those questions without any fear, right? Ask. Number 2, how do you improve talent and abilities of diverse employees? That's a very valid question as well. There's no one fix and there's no one size that fits all. How are they determining those talents and abilities from of different people? Everyone's different. We learn different. We share differently. We speak differently. We're all different, which makes us unique, which makes us a good mesh and great synergy for a company because we can have diverse ideas. But improving the talents and abilities for every person may look a little bit different. So, number 3, how do you cultivate a sense of belonging for every employee? How do you make sure that every employee feels like they belong? Valid question, right? Number 4, how are members of the diversity, inclusion, and belonging team selected? That's a very great question. You don't want to just put people on the team simply because that's the only person from that particular demographic in your company and you think they need to be on the team. There's strategic ways to place people on the team. Ask to see how the company is actually doing that. And I want to share with you and suggest that you do you know where your potential employer stands in the area of diversity, inclusion, and belonging? Even your current employer. Well, if you don't know, there's some questions you need to ask. Keep watching and listening to TalentSmiths, how the company is actually doing that. And I want to share with you and suggest that you subscribe to TalentSmith's YouTube channel. Subscribe to TalentSmith's YouTube channel where you'll find a host of valuable videos to help you in your intentional career. And so for the 5th question that I'm sharing with you to ask about diversity, inclusion, and belonging is, how does the company demonstrate diversity, inclusion, and belonging from top leadership? It starts at the top of the organization. How does the company show that from what their top leaders are doing within the company? Ask the question, how does the company demonstrate diversity, inclusion, and belonging from the top of the company? Very valid question that you should ask. And remember, get your digital download 25 questions. We only covered 5 today, but there's 25 questions that I'm sharing with you to ask on diversity, inclusion, and belonging because it's very, very important. And it's questions that you need to ask in your interview for your potential employer and even for your current employer. If you don't have these answers, ask those questions right now because you've got questions and you've got this.